Imagine you're a Christian in the year 150 CE. You walk into a church in Alexandria. The teacher tells you the God who created the world is evil, a bumbling, ignorant deity who trapped divine sparks inside human bodies. The real God is hidden. Only secret knowledge can set you free. This isn't some fringe cult. This is Gnosticism. The church spent centuries trying to destroy every trace of these ideas. Texts were buried in the Egyptian desert for 1,600 years. What made Gnosticism so dangerous, and why did it attract some of the most sophisticated thinkers in the ancient world? To understand, we need to start with a word and a philosopher who lived 500 years before Christ. The word Gnostic comes from the Greek gnosis, meaning knowledge. A Gnostikos was simply one who knows, someone possessing deeper wisdom. Here's what surprises most people. The term wasn't originally an insult. Clement of Alexandria, an Orthodox church father around 200 CE, called himself a Gnostic Christian. He meant he was wise, spiritually informed, in the know. The word only became a slur later after certain views lost the theological battle. Originally, calling yourself Gnostic meant claiming insider status. Where did Gnostic ideas come from? The answer takes us to Athens and the philosopher Plato. Plato noticed something about the physical world. Everything in it decays and dies. Your body ages, buildings crumble, empires fall, but ideas seem eternal. The concept of a triangle never changes. Mathematical truths don't decay. Plato concluded that the realm of ideas must be more real, more permanent, more valuable than the material world. Spirit and the mind belong to the eternal realm, and the body belongs to the realm of corruption. Your true self is trapped in flesh. Now take these Platonic ideas and combine them with Christianity. What do you get? Gnostic thinkers pushed Plato's logic further. The material world isn't just temporary, it's evil. The God who created this flawed, painful physical realm can't be the true God, and the true God is pure spirit, completely separate from matter. Salvation means escaping the physical world entirely. And here's the key. The real you, your innermost self, is a divine spark, a fragment of pure spirit that somehow got trapped in a material body. You don't belong here. You're a prisoner. How does a divine spark escape its prison? Through gnosis, secret knowledge. This knowledge reveals where you truly came from, why you're trapped here, and how to return to the divine realm. The knowledge isn't available to everyone. Only the initiated possess it. Gnostic teachers claimed to transmit this hidden wisdom through special texts and rituals. The material world, including your body, is a mistake, or worse, a trap set by an ignorant or malevolent creator God. True salvation means remembering your divine origin and ascending back to it. Here's where it gets complicated. 2nd century Christianity had no single orthodoxy. Different communities held wildly different beliefs about Jesus. Some said he was fully divine, a spirit being who only appeared human. Others said he was fully human, a prophet adopted by God. Some said he was both natures united. Others said his nature shifted between divine and human at different moments. No one in 150 CE knew which views would eventually win. The diversity was the norm, not the exception. Scholars use specific terms to navigate this complexity. Orthodox means right thinking, from the Greek ortho, right, and the doxa, opinion. Heterodox means other thinking, views later declared incorrect. But those labels came after the fact. Proto-Orthodox describes Christians whose views would eventually win, though they didn't know they'd win. Christology refers to beliefs about Christ's nature. These terms help us avoid projecting later categories backward. What counts as heresy depends entirely on who eventually gained power to define it. This diversity explains why Gnosticism is such a slippery term. Gnosticism wasn't a single organized religion. You couldn't find First Gnostic Church of Antioch on a street corner. It was an intellectual movement. Thinkers reading the book of Genesis through the lens of Plato's Timaeus. The Nag Hammadi texts may represent reading groups and philosophical experiments, not formal congregations. Some modern scholars argue the category Gnosticism is too vague to be useful. We're describing a range of related ideas, not a unified religion with membership roles. What does this mean for understanding early Christianity? When you encounter terms like orthodox and heresy, remember these are retrospective labels. The winners got to define what counted as true Christianity. Texts that didn't fit got burned or buried. Understanding Gnosticism reveals Christianity's intellectual diversity during its formative centuries. These weren't ignorant people following strange cults. They were sophisticated thinkers wrestling with profound questions that still matter. Why does the world contain suffering? What's the relationship between spirit and matter? How can humans connect with the divine? The Gnostic answer to suffering was radical. The world hurts because it was made by a flawed or evil creator. The true God never intended this mess. Your pain proves you don't belong here. This solution had enormous appeal. It explained evil without blaming the highest God. It gave suffering a purpose, awakening you to your true nature. It promised escape, not just endurance. For people living in a brutal ancient world, the idea that this reality was a prison, not a home, offered genuine comfort. The proto-Orthodox response was different. The material world is good because the true God made it. Evil comes from human choices, not cosmic mistakes. Salvation means redeeming creation, not escaping it. And this view eventually won. By the 4th century, Gnostic texts were being destroyed or hidden. The Nag Hammadi library survived only because someone buried it, perhaps to protect it, perhaps to dispose of it. Either way, these ideas went underground for over a millennium, preserved in Egyptian sand, while Christianity consolidated around different answers. The Gnostics lost the theological battle, their churches disappeared, their texts were buried, but their questions never went away. Every time someone asks why a good God would create a world with so much pain, they're asking a Gnostic question. Every time someone feels their body is a prison or suspects there's a truer self hidden within, they're thinking Gnostic thoughts. The answers changed, the questions endure. That's why 1,600 years later, we're still reading texts pulled from Egyptian sand.